And welcome back into the 18th Annual Telethon of Hope here at the Housing Assistance Corporation. Again, thanks to the Cape Cod Community Media Center. We're back in their studios, which is great. Such a beautiful facility here. I'm Matt Pitto with the Davenport Companies and the CEO of the Housing Assistance Corporation, Elisa Magnotta. And we saw the phone banks as well earlier. It's great to see those phone banks. They're so important to what we do.
Well, and I miss having them behind us, right? Like all the activity and the...
A lot of shenanigans happen
oh my
with those
gosh,
phone
those
banks
were crazy days, but they're having fun back at home,
right.
And I'm glad we get to see them.
On this segment, Kristy Senatori is with us. Kristy, of course, is the Executive Director of the Cape Cod Commission. Kristy, thanks so much for taking some time with us here on this year's edition of the Telethon for Hope. We appreciate it.
Thank you. It is very nice to be here. This is such a wonderful event.
Now, the mission of the commission, we know, of course, it's unique. You've got to work with the the unique values and the quality of life here on the Cape, and coordinating really this balanced approach between development, sustainable economy, yet maintaining the environment here while still having economic progress. And sometimes we see those two can sometimes clash with each other, but they really don't have to. So we'll start there. Give us a little overview of the mission and how you folks are moving forward, trying to maintain that important balance here on the Cape.
It's a great question, a great place to start, and it's a big goal, kind of that balance between economic progress and protecting those unique values that make up the Cape. And much of the work that we do at the Cape Cod Commission is, of course, in land use planning. Our most recent regional policy plan identifies the growth policy for the region, and that's really in that balance. It's really making sure to promote economic development, promote growth in areas where it makes sense, our community activity centers, and protecting areas that need to be protected for a variety of reasons, whether it's ecological reasons, for natural resources, or just making sure that we maintain the historic and unique character that does make up the Cape. So it is in that balance that is really important, and it really is the overarching framework in which we do a lot of our regional planning, and certainly the housing context fits right into that.
When it comes to the issue of the housing crisis, you folks have been looking at a lot of data over the past year plus or so. In terms of what you've been able to document in the last year plus with the housing crisis from the Commission standpoint, what are you seeing out there?
We conducted a housing survey and a strategy back in 2017, and I think what we've seen globally is that housing crisis has certainly taken a turn. And through the pandemic, we've noticed those market trends really changing. And so the median housing price in 2019 was about $410,000 on the Cape. Monthly estimates now in 2021 are over $600,000. And so that's a really tough number when you're looking at trying to provide for affordable and attainable housing for those that are making the average wages in our top industries here in the region. So combined with this information, it was important for us at the Commission to find out what other information can we gather. So we have recently completed a survey of new homeowners. We've seen an uptick in the purchases of homes in the region in the last 20 months or so. And so we've surveyed new homeowners to get a sense of what their short-term and long-term interests are in those properties. And what we found is that 36% of those respondents cited the pandemic as one of the main reasons that they came to the Cape. And so, of course, it's for those recreational opportunities, but what we're finding is that this remote option for working from home is really one of those other opportunities here. And so that is certainly driving some of our
the Zoom
increase.
Town.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. Right.
Elisa, that number that Kristy referenced it's just shocking. You go from, you said 440, right, or 410?
Oh, 410 in 2019.
410 to 600, and I mean that's just not sustainable when it comes to having a workforce housing here. How are you seeing that impact?
Right, the median income is around 80,000, 50 to 80,000, depending on the size of the household, right? Like that, they can't afford that.
No.
That's just
they could barely afford the 410.
Right, it's going to be a stretch for the 410, right?
Now the 600 is.
It's not attainable. That word that Kristy used, attainable. It's not just. It's not affordable, and it's not attainable. It's just not in the cards for people.
So role-wise, Commission, Kristy, what can you do? I know it's a big question, but what are some of the ideas you folks are trying to move forward with at the Commission on this?
Well, we also know that much of our housing stock here are second homes. About 38% of our homes are second homes. And so it's a good time for us to also survey our second homeowners and what are their short and long-term interests in their property. So that is something that the Commission is working on over the next several months. But while we look at housing inventory and supply, it's important for us to recognize that while we know there's a need for more housing, there's a need for additional units, we need to take a look at the diversity. We have over 80% of the homes on the Cape are single-family homes. And so that may not be something that's an opportunity for those that are earning those average wages. And if you look at that number compared to the national average, it's about 60%. So certainly the Cape is being impacted differently by the lack of diversity. So focusing growth and development in areas that can accommodate additional types of units, I think, is one of the most important ways that we can address the housing crisis.
We talk about things like over the years that I've been covering this, about allowing more density in existing areas where we already have sewers, where we already have construction, we already have buildings that maybe aren't being fully used. So can that be part of the equation? And how can the commission work with local communities on zoning issues, relief, et cetera?
Yeah, I mean, and density is a scary word for people, right? They're like, wait, what do you mean density?
Absolutely.
So what does that mean, right? It's the village center.
Right, absolutely. And so it's really building out our community activity centers and redeveloping areas that could be used for housing. And it's those technical assistance opportunities and those visualizations, and so that it's easy for people to understand that density doesn't have to be a scary word or a term, and they can
or
see
ugly.
visually what density might look like. And it can really be those community conversations that can happen. So we're working collaboratively with many of our towns to put together some of these visualizations that the communities can engage with, and they can really decide on their own if that's the type of housing that might make sense in their communities.
We have just about a minute left to go, Kristy. So we've been looking back during the program tonight, what's been happening over the last 12 months. So try to do a little crystal ball here for us. And,
Come on, Kristy, get your crystal ball out.
Do your best, not to put you on the spot or anything. But hopefully when we get together again next year, this time to talk about the issue, what will you be working on at the commission level between now and next year on these issues?
So I think a regional housing strategy is certainly something that's necessary and critical, and we're already moving forward with putting together that strategy so that there is a place for planners to go, there's a place for developers to go when they say we know we can build these housing units, here's a place where it makes sense to build them. So let's look at a map, let's find those opportunities where we can protect the resources that we need to and build those housing units in the places that make the most sense.
All right, well, we hopefully you'll have some great progress over the next 12 months, and by people going online and helping us here with the telethon tonight is only going to be an assistance for us as we move forward looking for solutions here on the Cape. We have to find those solutions. Kristy, thanks so much for being with us. Kristy Senatori from the Cape Cod Commission. We appreciate your time on our 18th annual Telethon of Hope. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kristy.
And we continue here with our 18th annual Telethon for Hope with the Housing Assistance Corporation.